Institute, and I received funding from SIA to actually fund a prototype for a digital museum. And I will show you the result in a moment, but first I want to give you a bit of background. So the general aim of this project, actually it's less research than knowledge exchange, as we understand. But the main aim is to stimulate research on Jews in Belarus and rescue as much as possible Jewish heritage in Belarus through the creation of a digital platform. And we are doing that with a partner in Belarus, which is called the Belarusian-Jewish Cultural Center. Half of its members actually are in exile now because of the political situation in Belarus. So Belarus, it's this small country between Poland and Russia, Ukraine and Lithuania that has been one of the main centers historically of Eastern European Jewish life, which was part. Okay, so no, don't want to show you now. Because otherwise they will not listen to me. Because it's moving. Yeah, thank you. So Belarus, long history, we are big Jewish population for centuries until the Holocaust, obviously, that has a very important Jewish heritage, lots of synagogues, yeshivas, a very rich Jewish cultural life, but it's probably one of the least researched country or Jewish history in Eastern Europe, and also one of the most preserved Jewish heritage in Eastern Europe for different reasons. There have been private and grassroots initiatives to preserve this tangible and intangible Jewish heritage, but never any centralized, institutionalized, or coordinated effort. Which means that a lot of the Jewish heritage actually at the moment is disappearing. So initially our aim was with the Belarusian-Jewish Cultural Heritage Center was to create a Jewish museum in Minsk to try to educate and preserve this heritage and talk about the Jewish history in Belarus. But now the project has turned into a digital project for many reasons, because first of the political situation in Belarus since 2020, so there was, I don't know if you remember, but there were rigged elections followed by unprecedented mass protests that were very brutally repressed by Lukashenko, and that are still actually, he's still arresting people until nowadays who participated in the protests. Second, there was a law adopted in January 2022 in Belarus by Lukashenko that basically considered that it was okay to talk only of the Belarus of the genocide of the Belarusian people during the Second World War. So basically, it criminalized the mention or the study of the Holocaust. So the Holocaust had to be included or subsumed in this genocide of the Belarusian people. And third, the war in Ukraine since February 2022, and Lukashenko's collaboration with Putin has also created conditions. So basically, many people, mainly intellectuals, left the country, were arrested, and the conditions have become almost impossible to conduct research in Belarus. And there is a real emergency to rescue actually this Jewish heritage in Belarus. There are 5 absolutely beautiful synagogues that are just decaying in front of us. So the online solution was absolutely necessary for the safety of the scholars who work on this, and also to reach a wider audience, the people who left the country, the Belarusian Jewish diaspora, and the wider scholarly community. So we put together a horizon grant with the Belarusian Jewish Cultural Heritage Center and lots of international experts. That meant precisely as creating a platform, a digital Belarusian-Jewish museum. It had 4 sections, as you will see. One that is a sort of research repository where we wanted to basically store primary sources and academic resources for researchers to support the research. Second, an educational center, so to create resources for educators, because we also need to talk about anti-Semitism and about Jewish history in Belarus and elsewhere. Third, there was a creative hub, so the idea of encouraging creative industries and artists to use this heritage, reinterpret it, and create new forms, artistic forms, creative forms on the basis of this heritage. And fourth, an exhibition space, so where we would show exhibitions connected to big questions on Jewish Belarusian heritage. We didn't get the grant, and the feedback that we got was that we needed to be more precise on the technological resolution of the platform. So that's why we thought we needed to produce a prototype to help us, first of all, to visualize how it could look like, how these 4 elements could work together, and also to have something to present to potential fundraisers and for future grant applications. So, this is where I'll show you the prototype. So we've worked for the last few months with the Belarusian-Jewish Cultural Center and a designer IT company to put this slide together. They are not really clickable, so the idea is really to think about the design. And our main idea is that it's not a traditional museum. We don't want to have, I don't know, a sanctuary of objects, something like hierarchical and rigid. We really want it to be an open lab and something, a modern conception of museums, so a museum like a space where people can meet, can discuss contemporary issues too. So that's where you have these bubbles. So you have the 4, that's the home page. So there will be a representation of the 4 spaces with these sub-bubbles that represent the different exhibitions that will happen, and the same will be created for the research repository and education center. Yeah. Okay, then we added the mission, the aim, so we wanted a website that was dynamic, visual, with as little text as possible, and a lot of visualization, but abstract, to avoid having to choose what should represent Belarusian Jewish cultural history or heritage, so hence these symbols. And the crowdfunding element is very important. So on each page, we invite people to contribute financially, but not only, as you will see. So that's the main page. Then you have the menu, and I will start with the research repository, which is really aimed at collecting sources that are available online. The prototype is based on the example of the Volpa synagogue, which is a wooden synagogue in Belarus. So if you type Volpa synagogue, you would get access to different primary sources like a memorial book, drawings, lithographs, etc. Secondary sources, different, basically a bibliography, and then related materials, related topics. So material organized thematically. And again, at the bottom of the page, we are inviting local scholars, amateurs, to send us their material. And we want also this platform to be a place for exchange, so we want to have some forums, for example, with PhD working on topics, being able to exchange ideas. We also have the education center, so where we would offer different types of courses, access to recorded public talks, toolkits for different school ages or university ages around connected to synagogue culture and games. So it's all an example, and again asking for contribution because of course we need to have a sense of, or we need to produce material and toolkits that work in different countries for different national curricula. So it's important to involve as many people as possible. The cultural hub is where we would encourage creative industries and artists to use our material to create their own projects, so where we would advertise their projects. We would also have a shop, so some merchandising to financially sustain the project, and I'm finishing, and where we would advertise some events, and finally, the most impressive probably, the exhibition space, where for this example we have produced a 3D reconstruction of this absolutely beautiful Volpa synagogue that was completely destroyed during the Second World War. But we have lots of photographs and archival sources, drawings. So the people will be able to do a virtual tour of the synagogue. They could also put their 3D glasses on and go inside the synagogue, do a 3D tour. They could also, so you can see the reconstruction and original photographs of the synagogue. So the next stage is fundraising. So we are approaching a donor in Israel that has funded Eastern European Jewish Studies in Israel. We also have a presentation of the project in Paris at the Jewish Museum in January. And we are also looking at applying again for Horizon after another grant, and we hope that this prototype will help to visualize what we want to do. That's it. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Claire.